Hello, and welcome to a first look at Ignited Steel, Mech Tactics. Go by the full name here. Right out the gate, I'll tell you, I'm checking this game out because the devs sent me a key. And they said, hey, if this game looks interesting to you, take a look, here's a key. And I took a look and I went, oh, this game does look cool. This game released on the 9th. Like, the way that I would explain it, I've seen a lot of people, and you will probably see this comparison as well, compare this game to Into the Breach. However, I think it is a little more akin to something like a roguelike version of Battletech, and you'll get a better feel for it when we get into it. But I think it's pretty cool. I thought it was a neat idea, and so here I am. I played the tutorial like a few days ago, and I let it sit because I've been busy this week, but I got some free time today. And by free time, I mean I have exactly 40 minutes before my next meeting, so I figured I'd run a little first look. Based on what OBS is telling me, I'm going to turn the game down just a little bit, and this will be a good time for me to show you the options menu as well. This game is, well, let me go through some of the semantics stuff first, shall we? Semantics, informational, however you want to say it. So, game came out on the 9th. It's by a developer named Yokai Cade and a publisher named Meteorbyte Studios. From my research, this is the first game from the developer and the second game from the publisher. And the publisher put out another game called World Soccer Strikers 1991, which I had not heard of. And yeah, nothing that you've probably heard of, basically, is my feeling here. The game is currently 15% off, and it's 15% off through the 16th. It is $15 normally and $12.75 right now, and there's also a demo you can download to try it out on Steam. And anything else of interest? Yeah, I don't know if they have it. They do have it in here. There's only 2 languages, English and Spanish, so be wary of that if you are not a native English/Spanish speaker. And according to on Steam, it's Spanish-Spain, which I imagine means that I'm not like the most well-versed in languages of the world. However, I'm assuming that there are different variants of Spain in different variants of Spanish in different places in the world. So, be aware it is -Spain. And that's all that stuff out of the way. Let me tell you, let's go through the options menu real quick, shall we? So you got languages, of course. You can confirm end turn or not, which is nice option to have, and then controller vibration on or off. Just checking my controller is not plugged in. You got music and sound effects and the ability to mute audio. You can speed up enemy turn times, which is cool. Again, you'll see when we get into it. Full screen, they have resolution options as well you can mess with. Standard options, 1280-720 through 3840-2160. And then no borderless full screen, but I imagine if I were to uncheck full screen, it would become borderless. The one thing that I thought was really funny in here is the screen shake is on a slider. So, I'm going to turn that down to 0 because I don't like having screen shake on when I record videos in case it makes people upset. Like, not like upset, like stomach upset, like sick. And lastly, the ability to toggle being able to move the camera with the mouse. So nothing obviously missing, nothing too crazy. I don't think that this game there's no video settings, you'll notice, but I don't think this game particularly needs them because of the art styling. I don't know. It's not really a big deal, I don't think. And yeah. So there is a tutorial you will play on your first run, and I'm going to do my best to remember how things work from the tutorial, but the game is pretty intuitive. We'll just start a new run. It is it's basically like a roguelike turn-based strategy game with a reasonable degree of customization for your units between the runs, or between the rounds, I should say. And so you start out, you pick your team here. You can see they have a bunch of stats. I'll go over what they are briefly. Max health is health. When they reach 0, they die. I assume, although it looks like it actually doesn't die and it's just the mech dies and you keep the pilot. Weight, how much they can move in a turn. 1 AP cost needed to move 1 tile is equal to your mech's weight. Yeah. And then you'll see how the action points work as we go on. Heat capacity, which basically the way that it works is when your mechs shoot, they build heat. When they're above half heat, they do more damage and take more damage, and when they're at max heat, they do maximum damage on all attacks, but they also take maximum damage and burn every turn. Cooling rate, which is how much heat they lose in return. The self-heat multiplier. I haven't seen this one before. Increases or decreases the heat increase. Oh, so this is just like a modifier on how much heat they gain. And then the damage multiplier they have when they're in the heat zones. Okay, that makes sense. And so you get to customize your pilots, your mechs, and your packs at the start, and there's a pretty good amount of this stuff. So start with the pilots. There's like your basic assault pilot. This is the first character, and it looks like there are, yeah. So you got all of these characters to mess with. You start with this character, Egret Soryu. Heat affects your mech at all temperatures instead of above 50%. That's her skill. That's cool. And then she has modifiers to those stats. I'll bring her, and I assume that you can only bring one of each unit. Like, I assume I can't bring... Yeah, okay. That does check out. And then we'll go through some of the other stuff we have here. So we have 3 base mech types. You can even change the colors. That's kind of nice. So you could have them all color coordinated. Oh, is this like a... like camouflage, kinda? This one is? That's cool. Let's make them yellow. Hell yeah. So you got 3 types of mechs. You got the Juggernaut mech, which is heavy, more armor, so more health, and slower, I believe. Yeah, the Stalker mech, which is like less health, like lighter, more mobility. Just generally. Also has higher heat damage multiplier. You can look at the stats for yourself. I don't really want to go through all of them. And then this is like your middle of the road one with, I assume, more range. No, I think range is actually tethered to the weapons. I'm going to leave everything default, but I want to show you all of these options we have anyway. And then lastly, we have these weapon loadout packs. So each mech has a main weapon, a secondary weapon, and then like a core, I think is what the last thing is. Yeah, so like, for example here, the shock pack, you have the missile launcher. So you see the range, so from where the mech is, it can hit 2 in front of it, 2 behind it, like in a line in front of it or anywhere around it, and it will impact and do a little damage in this plus area. So like if I were to shoot here, and it's a little difficult to see my cursor, I'm sure, but if you were to shoot 1 tile up and to the right, it would hit also all of the tiles around that, but not in a box. And every weapon has a different idea. And then similarly, you have the... Oh, and there's a range indicator here, so range 4. So I assume that maybe goes further. Yeah, so maybe this goes further, like it goes out 4 tiles. It'll make more sense when we get in there. But that's your main weapon, and then it generates this much damage, it'll do this amount of heat, so 180 heat to the enemies, and it'll generate heat to itself. And this is how much it costs and how much weight it adds. General feeling is I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you, and I don't really expect you to remember all of this, but I also don't think it, like, matters that much that you remember all of this. It's just good for you to see it and go, okay, so that's how this works. Like, I'm taking a weapon that gives me more heat to give the enemies more heat, or more damage, more heat, more AP costs, things like that, you know? And then a bunch of different packs which you'll unlock as you play through. I'm really surprised at the, like, breadth of content here. There's a lot here. This is not an early access game, this is a full release. So maybe they'll be adding more content, I don't know, I haven't really looked, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. And so I'm just going to deploy, and we're going to get rolling. Similar to the Breach Wanderers, I've spent like 8.5 minutes talking, but there's a lot to go over in the very brief intro period. Maybe it feels like in games like this, it is just a lot to cover very quickly, you know? Now, when I played the tutorial, the map was much smaller. Okay, so it's arrow keys to move. And you can see this is like an FTL style, not really FTL, it's like a Slay the Spire style node pathing system. And then I assume we get to the end and we move to the next sector. That's going to be my guess. You can bring up the options at any time. One thing that I will check, I'll do most of this sector, although the fights are probably going to be a little long. But my first concern is that you can't really hover over the things to see what they are. I guess you'll know as you go on, right? But we're going to go... So each of the maps has a mission. So like this top map has destroy the generators as the mission, and this bottom map has eliminate all enemies. I believe that the space stations are shops where we spend our money, which we have in the top right, and the debris fields are events. So let's go to Kappa Callion P370. And then you can look. So we can see the types of enemies we'll fight. There's a bounty and a weapon. I don't know what all this means. I don't really remember from the tutorial, but it'll probably explain itself. So you get to choose where we deploy our units, and this is a frost map, and on the cold maps there's less heat generated overall. So you can take a quick look at the map and see, like, we got 2 enemies over here, 2 enemies over here, tank over here. And our goal is, so you can see we have 8 turns to destroy 3 generators. So there's our goal. Alright. I think that I'm going to generally just kind of drop everyone in the middle here. Like so. And then we're just going to run straight down Main Street. You'll notice, so there's a few different tiles here, right? So I'll go over what you're looking at as well. You can probably make a guess, but like, mountains are impassable, the fire tiles increase your heat and do damage to you. And I believe if you destroy the city tiles in the combat on accident, you take a penalty. The music in this game is kind of, like, you can probably hear it. Music's kind of going nuts. Here we are, Fortnite dropping in. Alright, so when you take your turn, you can pick any of the characters to go. So I'll pick Ygritte Soryu. I'm gonna call her Ygritte from now on. So interface here we can go over real quick. She has 3 actions. You can do the movement, which spends action points, and you can see in the upper bar here how much movement is costing. So like if I move all the way here, that's all of my action points. Whereas if I move here, it's about half of my action points, right? And we have, it looks like 120 total action points to use. So we're gonna move, and the movement, it's not all done at once. So like I can make this move and then start to plan it out, and then like I can look at the attacks and go, okay, I do like this attack, or no, I don't, and then undo the movement if I don't like it, basically. Now, the thing that's important to know is that you cannot plan all 3 attacks out at once. So I have to take this character's a movement. Actually, let's see. I think you have to, yeah, okay, so actually let me see, because I don't remember. I can go execute action. Okay, so when you do execute action, that is the end of the turn. Gotcha. I wasn't sure if you could like do the movement, move another character, do the movement, move another character. That is it. So when you press execute action, that ends the character's turn. That is important to know. An important mechanic to understand as well. So move this guy. You'll notice his movement costs a lot less because his mech is lighter, but he's also lower HP. What do we have? We have the Firemonger. Launches a fireball that deals damage to an area and sets tiles on fire. And we have the Napalm Z Flame Launcher. Affects melting plasma in a large cone shape, deals minimum damage but greatly heats all targets. Okay. And yeah, so this is a little further range than the indicator that we showed us, but the indicator shows us like the attack pattern basically. I think it makes decent sense. Yeah, so he can walk up, take his shot, and then walk back. Like so. Yeah. Would have been good if I didn't waste one of my character's turns, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Does your weapon attack? Okay, so his weapon is like a targeted single tile attack. So what he's gonna do is he's just gonna move up and fucking blast. Maybe not. Okay, so you can unqueue actions one at a time with right click. Good to know. Oh, heals an ally and eliminates all negative status effects. Instantly overheats you, can't be done while overheated. Okay. That seems good though. So I would have killed this mech if I didn't waste my turn. But that's alright, and now you can see the enemies take their turns. I don't really know what he did, he just caught on fire. What did my man do? So, enemies who you're not like actively engaged with, I've noticed, have not really done anything. Like they don't move towards you actively. Once you engage with them, they'll fight you, but otherwise they do not. I think the area or the screen is tinted red for this character because they're always considered overheat. I think so. Right, so like one of the things that you have to keep in mind here is if I shoot here, I'm going to destroy the city, and that will be a negative for me overall. I think if I shoot here, yeah, you can see what you're going to kill. We'll go ahead and just blow these two guys away. And the order that I take my turns doesn't matter. Like if I want to, I can move with this guy next, if I prefer. Repairs the mech at the start of the turn and then disappears. Okay. I believe the heat only matters if you, yeah, it only hurts you if you start your turn in the heat zone, not if you move over it. So we can just walk right over. Our goal is to destroy these generators, so I'm just going to get to work on that. Yeah, you see, didn't take any heat there for walking over that. Our big mech lady is going to be stuck. She's going to take a while to get there. It's going to be a bit of a long time. I'm going to actually not... Like, I'm going to do my best to not blow anything up that I'm not supposed to. And you can see in the bottom right, you can see about the enemy you're targeting. So, like, this tank roots adjacent units. This tank deals damage to the surrounding tiles if it overheats. Oh, these are what they do if they overheat. Okay. I think there was also something that they talked about in the tutorial, and forgive me, it's been a few days, but I believe there was also something they talked about in the tutorial that was like enemies get stronger in the course of a battle. Dude, that thing moved far. Like, I think it was enemies that stay alive start to get damage multipliers. The tank used the end of its turn to deheat, which is fine. It seems like the AI is a lot more worried about heat than I am generally. I love this, like, gratata gun. Pow, pow. There's one generator down. We have three. We're on 3 of 8 to finish this mission. How you doing? You're gonna get in the heat zone. The mechs that they're spawning in, so I think that this is like, yeah, this next turn an enemy will spawn here. I might need to kind of just run, and yeah, you're not gonna do anything else here. You're just gonna walk on over and chill. Can you finish this guy? How much does this do? It's good, but he's gonna be in the danger zone on heat. But that's fine, because you don't actually take a negative unless you go overheat. So him being in the danger zone is fine. You're kind of supposed to, like, you're supposed to balance it out, basically. Look at this guy, they will move on their turns. Some of the spawned ones will, it looks like. Okay, so now the enemies are actually starting to enter the fight, which makes this much harder than it seemed like it would be. So, I haven't seen this before, but these enemies are targeting the tiles that I'm on. I haven't seen enemies do that yet. Kinda neat. So, we have 4 turns to... Basically what I'm feeling here is... What if I just go? More or less is what I'm thinking. And instead of trying to sit here and fight, although unfortunately my path is blocked on this way. Charges in a straight line, hitting an enemy will damage and root it. Damage increases with each traverse tile. Right, I should start looking at my secondary gear, right? How much would this do? That does like 1200-ish. Okay, you can't quite one-shot this guy. I wanted to check if I could kill this enemy from full health, right? Because he's blocking my path over to the next generator I have to kill. I don't know if I can shoot over mountains, can I? Okay, I can shoot over mountains. So, I think my game plan here is going to be to have... Although, he might just get clobbered, right? Because damage you take is permanent. Or not really permanent, but like... I don't heal it all right away. So it's kind of like FTL in that regard. Okay, so you can just blow this guy away like that, I guess, is fine. Like, I don't have another... I have to go through him. So I may as well blow him up. That's my feeling, anyway. You can't quite one-shot anything. It seems important to be able to kill enemies in a single turn. I'm worried, I don't know how much damage these enemies are going to do if they get a full round on me. But let's go here. No. Here's what I want to try. I want to try go in here and just going right through the generator. So all this damage, so here's the idea. I'm going to walk him over here and he's going to kill this generator, assuming he doesn't get one shot. Next turn, he finishes the generator and then goes to get healed. That's going to be the idea. Oh, and also you can't move through your own allies, and you can't move through enemies either. I knew that, but I figure you might as well know as well. We'll go ahead and we'll just kill one of these guys. Actually, what's your weapon? Straight line napalm blaster. I do like not having to do the math here, basically, and just being able to go, yeah, let's see what this does. Oh, so this is gonna hit our lady. And what happens here is it overheats this guy and then he roots everyone around him. Which is why that looks like that, and it gives me like a little buzz, I assume. We'll just kill him. Although you're gonna overheat for that. An interesting issue. I can take the turn to cool. Let's just try doing like 1 shot, 2 shots. So he's gonna take 200. Oh, so when you're overheated, you take damage for attacking. That's what it is. So he's gonna do 2.55x times that damage, but he's also going to take damage for shooting. Yeah. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blow up this tank then, and then this guy's gonna take damage for taking this turn, but then he can go grab the heal that guy's trying to take. Oh, I did blow up a city. I could have actually positioned that in a way that didn't blow up a city, and that's my bad. I will be apologizing later. Oh, the enemies will priority target overheated allies. Okay. Oh, shit. Yeah, okay, so they do a lot more damage than I thought. Also, they completely ignored my man over here. So he can just pop, destroy that. And then what? I guess I want him to start moving towards, like... It's a tough one. He can't really reach this generator over here. I could if I just blow through all these cities, I guess, but that seems bad. Oh, also I destroyed the heal pack I was going to pick up here, so that seems not as good as I thought it would be. Okay. Just do this then. By the way, one other thing to know, when one of your units is overheated, they will not break overheat unless you cool. So like here, I can just leave my man in overheat, shoot twice, kill both of these mechs, and then break the overheat. And I assume, I'm not sure, but I assume that he is going to not die from this health point. That's my guess. I think that he did take quite a bit of damage, and there's enemies right on top of him. So I guess we'll get to learn here. Challenge completed. Unlocked for the future run a new module. Cool. So it is like Into the Breach in that regard, where you unlock stuff for future runs by doing challenges on the runs you're doing. Which is cool. And we'll just kill another one here. Although if you do your charge attack... Can you get him? No, you don't have enough action points to get him. Yeah, that is like exactly all of them, so we'll see how it goes. I think that I can reach this generator and break it in time. Probably. Oh, he overheated and rooted my man. That's interesting. A little problematic. It seems really difficult to actually reach this target in time, you know? I might end up having to nuke one of these cities, sadly. Actually, if you do your charge attack, you can get here. It costs a lot of heat to do that. I guess you could just walk up, right? And then next turn she can just take 1, 2, 3 shots, kill the generator, move on with our fight, right? Yeah, I think so. As I'm playing through this, by the way, I'm probably not gonna finish this entire sector because this is gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while because I'm still learning, particularly. But that's all right. I think you're getting a good feel for the game. I think it's cool. It's pretty fun. Nice little, like, it's been a while since I personally have played Into the Breach or like any real turn-based strategy type game. And so I'm having a good time. I was looking for something like this to play. So far it's fun. I'm gonna move this boy on over here to help protect our injured ally. And then he can do an emergency drone, heal and eliminate all status effects. Although, is there a range on this? Let's see. There is a range on that, okay. So let's actually move you here. It's gonna heal him for 800. Oh, that instantly overheats you though. Which is, I would be okay, except for I don't want to get crunched by this tank, right? Yeah. So instead of doing that, let's have you, I think I'm just gonna have this guy move over to here. So here's the idea. Although it's not this doesn't heal you on pickup, it's at the start of turn. Yeah, you know what? Never mind then. Because I'm going to end this fight next turn, most likely. So let's go heal our friend. He's gonna take some overheat damage. Oh, could I have? I bet I could have gotten a cool off there, actually. I just didn't think about it. Yeah, so my man's gonna take some damage. Frig you, buddy. What the hell? Dude, just sending it towards my man. It seems like the AI doesn't have any, like, obvious mistakes that I see it make. Most of what it does seems to make sense to me. Oh, you can break their spawn in? That's cool. And this should just end the mission, I assume? Yeah, cool. Could have maybe gotten, you know what, I could have gotten another heal off on my allies over there. Let's see, our end of mission. Oh, bounty is just what you get for winning. Remember I said bounty at the start on the node, and I went, I don't know what this means. Bounty is just like your reward, I bet. So we got experience on our pilots. I assume experience is going to be related to the damage output that they do, or like enemies killed, something like that. We get money for doing the mission, 499. We get, oh no, this is just total money for the mission, I see. Because we got 200 for completing the battle. We got 315 for killing 9 enemies. We got 10 money for the turn we had left. But then we lost 26 money. I'm just gonna call it dollars, I guess, from here on, or crates. I don't know. I don't think they maybe have a name for it. But we lost 26 money for the building we destroyed. And then we got experience, and here's our recap of what we killed. And then when we finish, we get to choose one of these to take with us. And this is a new weapon we can use on our units. So I've been calling them primary, secondary, or like main weapon and support weapon, but the game calls them primary and support. So I can either take this primary, which has a level of 2, has a range of 3, and it does a little X pattern attack. 830 damage though, wowee. Big heat as well, but also lots of heat to self. Or we can take the ballistic shield. Cools down the mech and until next turn nullifies all damage received from a single next attack. Seems cool, but I like this weapon. Time is it? It's 4:45. Let's do one more. Okay, so you can kind of get a... I see. So, like, first and foremost, we go to the hangar between missions now, and we go and we can look at our... what we have. We can change out your primary weapon for this level 2 weapon, perhaps. I think the levels mean something, but I don't know what. You have the MX missile launcher versus the proton gun. So the proton gun, I believe, weighs less, and less weight is good. It costs 4 less actions, which is probably enough to get like 1 tile of movement on the AP front. But it heats more for us and enemies. Okay, this seems fine to me. And then what do you have? You have the fireball and the projectile rifle. The projectile rifle's interesting. I think it's alright. Okay, and so we can either go to this cold planet, we can go to this hot planet, so presumably cold planet less heat, hot planet more heat, and then I have to assume that toxic planet, like maybe acid pools, something like that. And so what the planet type is obscured as well. Let's go here. It would be nice if they could tell me what this stuff was ahead of time, but you'll learn. So the bounty we can get is a core or a weapon here, a core or a core here, and a weapon or a weapon here. Let's go to Wertopius. Gonna go write my Wertopius. Okay, yeah, so toxic pools. Oh, and environment conditions, 20% damage dealt and received. And this is also a kill 3 generators mission. Gotcha. Are there's people that live here next to the toxic swamp? That's fucked up. But yeah, you can see our mechs are still damaged from the last fight. I think you can heal them at shops, but I'm not sure. Yeah, you know, I'm just thinking about these guys. Yep. Oh, another day in the freaking swamp. Living next to the radioactive waste. Hilarious. Just another day at the office. Hope my limbs all stay intact. Okay, let's see. I believe I can get to here. Where are you? I think he's on the tile. I think he's on this tile, so I need to target. I think I need to move up one more. Oh no. So like this is fine. Okay. I mean, in that case, you can shoot him from right here, right? Yeah, wow. That's pretty good. And then I think I want to, like, this lady, her mech is very strong, I feel. Very, very solid. So I think she can basically go solo these guys, and these two clowns, the nameless pilots, are going to stick together. And I'm gonna try and get to these heal pads as well. And I guess my man can make it to the heal pad, but it doesn't heal him until the start of his turn, so he might just die. He's at half health. Let's take a quick move over to here. Not quite enough. How about if you go here? It'll overheat it, which will root it. Okay. That should be fine, right? He moves over here. Takes a little bit of heat for moving. I'll be interested to see how much in a later portion of a run, which I won't be able to cover in this, but this will be something for you to try out for yourself and see. How much do you think in a later run, like in the late game of a run, your heat management is going to matter? Because I imagine it's going to be pretty important to be keeping yourself at the right level of heat and estimating what the enemies do. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the enemy turns as well. This is something that I can do, I just have not done yet. Now, what we did learn is you can destroy these beacons. So I can spend a little bit of her heat to just run that beacon down. Don't really want to destroy a city. She's gonna overheat, but I could probably... Oh, she one-shots this thing. What the hell? That's strong. Okay. I'm gonna overheat her. I think it's okay. Or... let's play it cool. Let's play it cool. She's killing one of them anyway. She's killing the beacon, so... I think this is fine. Did 2784? Holy moly. Where's my man who's dying? You're the one with the heater, right? Yeah. I mean, the heater could be a lot of things. He's the one with the machine gun. Calling it the heater in this game is surprisingly not useful for your knowledge of what the hell I'm trying to say. He's the one with the gratata, you know? He's the one with the pop pop. And then, and he's also the one who is not half health, so. Oh, does it heal you right away? Oh, it does heal him right away. I thought it said start a turn. Okay, so they go really fast, but also I feel like I can keep up with their turns. And we're a little bit incentivized to just finish this fight ASAP because we get more money for our turn counter being higher, right? Remaining turns. So I'm gonna do that. I actually also think that I can maybe finish the fight on this turn if I move you here and ta-ta-ta. The generator destruction missions are a little interesting. Like, this mission's area is pretty small, and so it's not particularly difficult for me to just steamroll right past these enemies and break the generators on turn 1, you know? I could maybe even, like, yeah, I want to spend... I don't know if you get experience for killing the beacons. I'd have to assume not. Like, managing your experience is also important. I assume that I'm getting experience for hitting them, but maybe not. Either way, I'm just gonna... No, I don't... I mean, one shot here, sure. Although, is he gonna get... Yeah, okay, taking the extra attack isn't worthwhile. You're right, you're right. Could have gotten this heal, I bet, too. Not a little bit of micromanaging I could do, but that's a dub. We take those. Let me check my meeting and make sure it's still happening in 7 minutes. Okay, yeah, it is. So I'm gonna go through, I think there's a shop I can look at, and then I'm gonna wrap up. I made 335, so the little bits of extra money for finishing turns early don't seem that good. Like, it's better just to kill enemies, it looks like, because you're getting 35 per enemy versus 10 per turn. And you probably get more experience for killing enemies. So generally speaking, that's there. Alloy Core AA7. So you lose 900 health, but you cool 12 and it weighs less. And you also get a bigger multiplier on your heat. So basically this is just like it weighs less so you can move more. Or, and you know I'm about to take the quad laser cannon. Look at that thing. That's sick. Yeah, and then we'll go check out this shop, and then you can I think that's good enough for you to get a feel for the game. About 40 minutes. Yeah, I think that's plenty. So there's a few more things I want to talk about here, though. That you might have seen it. There's these things called contracts. So at shops, you can spend your money on the things you would expect, modules, services like repairing and selling things. You can also buy these contracts, which basically gives you a challenge. So here, I'm not sure entirely, but let me buy a repair. I don't need to. That's 400. Okay. Can sell things I don't want. Like, I think I'm gonna sell this missile launcher for you. I'm gonna buy a contract. So, like, I could buy this immediate destruction contract. Finish the next destroy the objectives map in half as many turns as the maximum number of turns. It costs me 1200 now, but if I am able to do this, so beat the next destroy objectives mission in half as many turns, I will get 3000 credits. Similarly, I could do this one, use support equipment 10 times in the next battle, and if I do this, I get a permanent buff of 10% less action point cost per movement, which seems decent. It's not, I don't think it's like a crazy thing, but a little bit of AP gain is good, action economy is good, so I would buy this here. Oh, and you get a challenge for that as well. Cool. In the tutorial, I was only able to buy one thing. I think that was just... Also, did that not cost me anything? I have more money now. Oh no, I sold something. That's right. I sold something. I just didn't look at how much I got for it. Heavy-duty explosive rounds at high speeds, tearing through the enemy and shooting 2 tiles in a line. Yeah, I'd like to buy this over the projectile rifle, I think. Costs more, weighs more. It actually doesn't do that much more damage. The draw of this is the impact area, I think, which, yeah, I'm okay without it, actually. Heavy slow power and core offering decent shielding. It takes time to reach its full potential. Once it powers up, its damage on the battlefield is unparalleled. The description there makes it sound like this has some sort of ramp up, but it looks like it just adds health and weight. Hard to say. I'll buy it. Buy a module from a commercial station. Cool. Alright, and then you can see your contract here. I'll go over to the planet so you can see it. Pop into the hangar as well, but I'm gonna wrap up here because I have a meeting in right now. But I wanted to get this covered, and I've been meaning to cover this for a few days, but I've been super busy. So, you know, again, I do want to remind you the devs did send me a key. I like to believe that it does not affect my reviewing of the game. Like, I'm not giving this game a higher amount of praise because of the key or anything like that. I think this game looks cool. I really do. I think it's worth taking a look at. The only thing that I'd be really worried about is I'd be worried about like the depth of difficulty. Obviously, it's hard to gauge based on the first little bit that I've done, and I can't tell you for sure if this game is going to offer a bigger challenge. Like, I don't know if things like if there's a boss at the end of the act, how many acts there are in a run, how difficult these runs get, things like that. I don't know how hard it gets, and I don't know how it's balanced, and that's something that you'll have to figure out for yourself, basically, or, you know, watch someone else play this game for longer. I'm sure someone else has made content for it, right? But the goal of this series is just to give you a quick overview of the mechanics, and you can make a feel-based decision on that. But that is my main concern, is if this game doesn't scale up the difficulty. However, I think that I could see it becoming more difficult. I think it does have a few things that I'm not 100% sold on. Like, the enemies, it's really hard to tell what they're going to do in a turn. Like, one of the things that I felt like was really challenging about Into the Breach was that you knew what the enemies were doing, and you were still like, oh shit, I'm going to get hit. And I don't think that this game has that in the same amount. I compared it a little bit to BattleTech at the start of the video, but I've actually never played BattleTech, so I don't know for sure. I think it's somewhere in there though. Like, it's gonna get a lot of comparisons to Into the Breach. It looks and has that persistence like BattleTech to me, but I think it is a little more Into the Breach-esque after playing it for longer. But yeah, I think that it's fun. I think it's worth checking out, especially for 15 bucks. Worth giving a little look at, maybe play a run every now and then. I think it's a good time, and I think that depending on what the devs do with it, I don't know if they're going to just move on to making something else or continue development. I think this game is pretty fun and worth taking a look at. So I'm going to wrap up here. Oh, one more thing I wanted to check, actually. This is something that I often forget to check. You can continue runs. There have been games that I've played that did not have this feature, and I just kind of assumed that they did, and so I want to check that in these videos as well. And can pause and end and come back to runs. Great news. All right, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave me a like. Check the description if you want to go pick this game up on Steam. I'll have a link down there. And subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Goodbye.